All right, everybody, welcome back to another 2022 MLB draft interview in the hot seat today. I'm really excited about this one. One of the big breakouts this summer on the Cape Cod League circuit. That is Adam Maier, now of the University of Oregon. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, let's jump into this in a minute. But, typically we start these interviews off. Want to ask you, hand you the mic. Let's just sort of describe who you are as a player. Introduce yourself, to the viewers and listeners out there that are interested in learning a little bit more about you.
Well, obviously I'm Canadian, which is new for a lot of people. So, but yeah, I'm a pitcher and I'll throw a sinker, slider, and changeup from a 3/4 arm slot. Kind of sit in the low 90s, and I'd say my best pitch is my slider. So I try and use that when I can and get ground balls and whatnot. So, yeah, that's who I am as a player.
Perfect. And I got to see 4 of your starts this summer on the Cape Cod League. I actually saw your first start against Wareham, saw the second one in Chatham, in Orleans, and then I believe the fourth start I saw was Brewster at home. And there was a definitive difference, in your pitch mix and how you sequenced from the first time I saw you, where you were pretty heavy fastball, certainly mixing in that great, sweepy slider, really good changeup as well. Sort of the same in sort of that second start. That third start in Orleans, you came out, you were up to 96, 97 miles per hour on your sinker. But it seemed like your approach sort of shifted. You were, more heavy slider changeup than you had been previously. I actually believe in that start, you might have actually thrown the slider more than you were throwing the sinker. Was that a conscious decision, and just in terms of like changing up your sequencing, leaning into your strengths? Is there someone that said that? I'm interested in sort of, the genesis, the origin story behind that, and sort of the changes that you made over the course of the summer.
Well, it was for sure. It was conscious, and I think it was just me kind of understanding what my strengths are, and that's definitely throwing that breaking ball, getting hitters off balance with the changeup, and just mixing it up. I think you have to mix it up as much as you can if you want to get those elite level hitters out, and that's a tough league. So I think coming into the Cape, obviously I hadn't played for 15 months or something like that. It was a long time since I didn't get the opportunity to play in Canada. So I hadn't pitched in a long time. I was just kind of, I guess, getting into the rhythm of things, and I think eventually after a couple starts I kind of found myself, and I think that night in Orleans was kind of the start of me being comfortable and understanding that I can compete with these guys. And I think I just kind of felt that using that slider, using that changeup as something I had to do to keep the hitters off balance and, pitch to my strengths.
Absolutely. I mean, like you just said, coming off not pitching for over a year and then knowing you're going to come in and pitch against probably the best competition you've seen in your pitching career. How is your mindset? You said you gained more confidence in the second or third start, but how is your mindset going into the Cape in general? You knew it was going to be probably the biggest stage you pitched on, like as you said, in your career, So how was that? How was that for you?
Well, I was super excited. I mean, everyone knows about the Cape and what the Cape entails. It's where you want to be. It's the best league that you can play in. So I was excited. I was a little bit nervous. I was questioning whether I would, fit in there. And I think I proved it to myself and everyone else so that I do belong there, and I can play there. I can play at the highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's, it's impressive too, just I didn't realize that you had been off for 15 months, obviously my own personal ignorance about, Canadian college baseball and all that. But, it was funny because I think I initially looked at your age and was like, oh, this is a 2023 kid. You're actually eligible this year because you've had, 3 years of college experience, obviously going to Oregon this year, get to play with, a really talented team, Andrew Mazziello, another starter that I got to see in the Cape pitch really well. They got Brendan Malone coming in from South Carolina. It's a really talented squad. I guess sort of my question is, what are your goals this year? I mean, what is it that you want to be able to prove with Oregon? Is it like I want to be the Friday night guy? I just want to contribute. Are there personal goals? And I'm sure there's obviously team goals as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I want to be the Friday night guy. I want to contribute everything I can to, winning a national title. And I think we have an opportunity to do that. So, as big of an impact as I can make, I want to make that impact. And yeah, like you said, we have some good players that are here and more good players that are coming in. So I think this year we have a pretty good opportunity to do some damage, make some headlines in the NCAA.
Well, absolutely. But I just want to ask one question. Why Oregon? I know your options probably coming out of the Cape may have been more than you expected, but was Oregon one of your main choices coming out that you wanted to transfer to and make your name more notable
Absolutely.
at a Pac-12 school?
Yeah. Oregon's it's a great school, and it's got a good reputation. The pitching here is the pitching coach Jake Angier's got a great reputation with his pitchers, and that's somewhere that I wanted to be. Obviously, it's close to home. It's an 8-hour drive for me to come down here and play in the Pac-12. It's a good league, and Oregon at the top of the league or near the top of the league last year, and I just thought it was a great fit for me.
Makes a lot of sense. So I'm interested. I don't know if you have a baseball kicking around like in front of you or not. I'm interested
I
to sort of
do. I thought you might ask.
Perfect. I want to see some grips because you have, and I'll just say it for those folks out there that maybe haven't watched the video that we had put up on Prospects Live. We have some video that I put up when I was doing my summer stuff with our friends over at Perfect Game. But you have a really sweepy slider. I think it was, on average around 2,900 RPMs. You might have, busted 3,000 a couple of times. Significant sweep. And then you have a parachute changeup that, you do a great job of sort of getting, the opposite movement on it. And then also a sinker. I'm interested to see sort of what your grips are and what intent you have. What are you trying to do each time you're throwing each pitch? And what are your goals? Because like I said, it's a really unique pitch mix. And I think, for the data hounds out there, one of the more exciting ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Well, we'll start with the fastball. I typically throw all two-seam fastballs. So how I'll do it is it's just kind of right here. And I think an emphasis for me, which is kind of a weird thing, I've never heard anyone else do this, is I kind of almost wrap my how do I show this? I almost kind of wrap my pointer finger around the seam this way. So it's almost curved around the seam. And I feel like that helps me kind of get on the side of the ball. I don't really want backspin. I want the ball to sink. So it'll spin at around, for those data hounds, like you said, it'll spin like 215 to 230, and I just want to get as much kind of run and sink as I can. So yeah, that's the two-seam fastball. And then moving on to the changeup, I'm right here. So it's kind of a weird, almost double circle change. And I just try and feel the release kind of off my ring finger here. And again, I want to get the ball kind of spinning like a UFO, Devin Williams style changeup. And that's kind of my mental cue. And that helps me kind of get that dive and also take a couple miles an hour off the ball. And something interesting actually about the changeup, I got a chance to talk to Trevor Hoffman, about throwing the changeup in the Cape, which was an awesome opportunity for me. And he gripped the changeup. He actually threw like a palm ball. I'd never seen really anything like it before. But he kind of gave me this cue in that he would throw the pinch. He would pinch this seam with the circle part, and he'd throw the pinch. And so I kind of took that cue because I really liked it, and I felt like that kind of helped me take a few miles an hour off and get more dive. And I felt nice coming out of the hand. So that was a great tip that I got from him.
It's pretty fantastic.
So moving on to the slider, I'm right about here, kind of on the side of the horseshoe here. And the way I'll do it is I'll kind of instead of just gripping the ball here, I'll kind of pre-cork it in my hand. So it's like I'll spin it this way, if that makes sense. And what I do, honestly, I feel is that it's more of like a slurvy pitch instead of like a, more traditional gyro slider. So for me, I'll just kind of, it's a preset wrist, and I'm just kind of coming down on it ever so slightly. And I just try and throw it hard just so we can get that sweep.
Nice. Smitty, I don't know if you have anything you want to jump in here with, but I had a quick follow-up just in terms of, have you used like any of the technology to sort of,
that was literally my next question. So yeah, good jump into that.
Back up, sort of what you're doing there, what the shape looks like. Is it doing what I want it to do? Is it a combination of that and feel? Is it all feel? I know that depending upon the pitcher, it really varies.
Well, I've used Rapsodo before. That's what we used at UBC. And I didn't really use it in too much of like a pitch design way. Just knowing my numbers and stuff like that. But in the Cape, they used TrackMan there, and we had a TrackMan analytics guy. So he was kind of working with me a little bit, and I haven't made adjustments based on what I've seen on TrackMan numbers. But I think it's cool to understand like kind of what the numbers mean a little bit. And I definitely am. I like this. I like that side of things, the data analytics side. And but yeah, I haven't really done any pitch design stuff or anything like that.
Well, last thing I want to ask is, you're going to Oregon, you're building your draft stock for 2022. What is one of the main things you're looking to build on going into this upcoming season?
I think, just
a little bit of everything.
Grinding every day, a little bit of everything. Yeah. Grinding every day. Getting my mental game stronger, focus better. And I think just putting in the work every day is going to, improve every aspect of my game, from, velocity to location to spin to mental toughness. And yeah, I think if I just stay diligent with my work every single day, it'll handle itself for me.
Absolutely. All right. So we usually end these with some goofy questions. So I'll throw a couple at you. I guess the first one, we always like to ask this. Now it's going to be difficult because we usually ask like, who's the worst fan base you come across in the SEC or the ACC? You're still getting that. So I'll use the Cape Cod League. What was sort of the worst crowd, the worst environment you had to pitch in the Cape League? I know it varies from game to game, but there are some rivalries out there. So I thought it might be interesting to hear that.
You know what? I thought everywhere I played at was pretty welcoming. Like the fans are not, there's no negativity out of the fans. I feel like they're obviously cheering for their team, but they're nice. Like they're awesome. And every park we go to, there's kids kind of asking for autographs and stuff like that. It's a pretty welcoming, warm league. So I wouldn't say any place that I didn't like playing.
Smitty, you got 15 months
seeing it packed. I was just saying, after 15 months, you being packed out every night must have been a good feeling as well. If you're not pitching for 15 months and you show up to a packed stadium every night in the Cape, so that was exciting. But yeah, give me. I just want not a really goofy question, but give me one bat that was really tough for you. I know you might have faced a couple guys, maybe more than once, but I'm not sure. But just give me one bat in the Cape that really stood out for you as a guy that was a problem.
I think it's Chase DeLauder. That guy can swing it.
That's my guy too.
Yeah, he was a tough at bat. I think I had a 10 or 11 pitch at bat against him, and he walked. He was hitting some hard foul balls off me that night in Orleans. I just feel like I couldn't slip one by him. He's a tough out.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. DeLauder was probably, if not the best bat in the Cape, it was between him and Wilkin, or you didn't have to face Brooks Lee, so we won't include that in the conversation. You got to play alongside him.
Hey, another one before you keep going.
Sure.
Another one that I'd like to mention is a fellow Canadian, Owen Diodati. That guy could
Yes.
swing. He hit a bomb off me in my first start.
Yep.
In Wareham.
Yeah, I was right behind home plate for that one.
Yeah.
You were facing off with who was the guy that went to San Francisco? I'm drawing a blank on now, but yeah. So couple of drafted arms that night too that you played against. So that was a tough lineup for sure.
Owen's a good player, great guy too as well.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. One of the biggest power bats that was down there, and like early on, he was just on an absolute rampage the first few weeks. It seemed like every time I saw him, he barreled something up. So you're spot on with that. All right, this is the question we ask everybody that comes onto the show. I don't know if Smitty's got any other ones, but I'll end on this one. If not, what's the stupidest fact that you know? Just a useless fact that you want to share with the people out there. We've had things like, apparently if you stare at the sun, there was like, you're not going to ever sneeze again. You'll also be blind. There was like one like that. And Benny Montgomery, who was drafted by the Rockies when we did these last year, informed us that Pringles aren't actually technically potato chips. So that's what you're competing up against. I don't know if you have any dumb facts like that.
Oh, man.
Out there.
That's a good one. Let me think. Fun facts. I don't know if I can get you with any.
We put you on the hot seat here, so it's okay.
Yeah, I should have been prepared.
You probably should send that one out to people before
the one question.
Yeah, right. But hey, we appreciate you coming on to the show here. I was excited to get you on, just because you're somebody who, I've been singing your praises. After I, saw a few of your starts this summer, saw the adjustments that you made, and I think there's big things to come. You're a name that, maybe it's not on everybody's radar, but I really do think by, May, June of next year, you're going to be in that first round conversation, and you're going to be well on your way to starting your professional career. So best of luck with that. Best of luck with Oregon this season. You guys are definitely in the national title conversation. So Adam, thank you for joining us, and best of luck over the next year.
Thank you guys.